Oh man, it's our 19th episode, everybody. That's nuts.
Can't believe it. That's crazy.
I can't believe it either, Kelsey. I can't. But welcome back, everybody. If you don't know, I am Ken Breeze, Burling's Beard. I am a concierge DM in the New York City area. Check out my website of the same name to hire me. But this is the Secrets of Hammerfast D&D stream that you are now watching. We're on our 19th episode, which is really sick. Tonight's episode is called Drips in the Dark. It has a double meaning. Maybe you can figure it out. So we're just excited to be back. Thanks for watching us. If you're on Twitch or on YouTube right now, throw us a subscribe if you get a chance, if you like what you see. We've been playing D&D 5th edition for the past 18 weeks. So, it's been a little while now, 4 months, almost 5 months.
Yeah.
So go back and watch our previous episodes if you haven't already. But before we get into where we are and what's going on with our game, let me introduce you to our amazing players tonight. We have with us, once again, kicking ass, taking pork. We have Kelsey playing Callie.
Hi.
What can you tell us about Callie, who is represented here so beautifully in illustration form?
Yes, thanks to Anthony right next to me here. Our resident artist. Well, both guys next to me, actually. Yeah. But Callie is a halfling rogue, and she is a former, she continues to be an orphan. That never really changes. But
That never changed.
Yeah. She thinks she's found a soon-to-be orphan friend, so she's excited about that today. And she throws playing cards as her weapon of choice, and also has managed to procure a familiar who was her friend and is now her magical friend, named Rimpleton the Pig.
Rimpy!
You can see his crown, he aspires to have a crown, but he hasn't been too successful in actually getting one yet, so we'll see.
We have faith that Rimpy will get his crown.
Yep. Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed. And with us once again, we have Anthony playing Alaron. Welcome back, Anthony.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Great to have you. What can you tell us about our favorite warrior, Alaron?
Alaron is a half-elf acolyte of a small monastery where he trained in both the scholastic and martial arts. So he's a trained fighter. He's a bit of a dervish on the floor. He dances around. He's adorned with that dope helmet, which is so well polished you can see yourself. Yeah. He keeps it clean too. He has a bunch of magical gear on him, and he's a all-around good fighter who's learned a couple tricks from Callie recently, and learned to stab him where it hurts.
That's right. He's gotten a little bit roguier. Very cool. And last but not least, we have Thomas with us playing Elio. Welcome back, Thomas.
Thanks, Ken.
You're welcome.
I don't know what to say in that part.
I know.
I'm the only one that you welcome.
Don't worry, your welcome will wear out soon enough. Well, you're playing
Already
Elio.
nearly killed me twice. So.
I know. Isn't that the ongoing thing? Is that Elio has to drop at least once a session?
And I usually drop from full. I take one hit and go wham.
Well, that's my GM laugh. That's me having a good time, everybody. If the GM is laughing like that, they're having a great time. But what can you tell us about Elio the Illuminator, who is also depicted here so beautifully?
No.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He's over this way.
Yeah.
No, this way. That way. Elio the Illuminator is a Genasi cleric who worships the sun. He believes he was given visions by the sun, which grants all life and light, and he has come to the material plane as an envoy of the summer court, but more importantly as an envoy of the sun. And he met Callie and Alaron. They helped each other through a few scrapes, and now they're working together as he tries to keep them healed up and buffed up and make sure everything works out okay. But he's confident it'll all turn out okay in the end, even if he must venture into the darkness to do so.
And in the darkness you all have ventured into. If you remember, wonderful viewers, our trio of adventurers have been exploring an underwater castle, an ancient ruin that was once built or once inhabited, built by and inhabited by the Fae of the Summer Court. It is called Id Othramel in the High Elven, or Sparkly Town Delight in the Common Tongue. Sparkly Town Delight Castle has a reputation in legend for being a bit of a party palace. But once it's sunk underneath the glittery waters of the Glimmer Lake, has not been heard from for centuries. But our heroes have traveled there. They've had many adventures. Do check out our previous episodes to catch up on those. But specifically, currently, our heroes are in the unfinished tunnels and caverns underneath the castle. They are facing off against vicious trout folk who inhabit the underways, and it seems as if some sort of new power has taken control of these under caverns. A unknown creature that goes by the name of Padishah, the Padishah Mufti, in fact. And our group last time had traveled into the tunnels underneath the castle and faced off against trout folk and met the son of the Padishah, another Genasi, if you will, a half elemental. And here he is now, if you guys remember him. His name was Hari, is Hari, and our group made friends with Hari. They were able to turn him to their side and convince him to break faith with his father, the Padishah, so that he, Hari, could be empowered and take control of these under caverns from his father. Your group has been here to try and find out about this power, which you have successfully sort of done now. But the question becomes what to do with this information. You've heard about a ritual that is being performed in a room, a chamber here in these underground caverns. And that chamber has a portal to another world in it. It is the portal that Elio used to come to this world from the Fae Summer Court. But something has changed the portal, Hari told you. Has changed it so that it's connected to a plane of water. And that through this plane and through this portal, the Padishah is starting to manifest their great power. Not only by taking control of the trout folk that are down here, bringing their own son to this place, but also manifesting themselves. The Padishah apparently is incredibly powerful, and it takes a while for this manifestation to complete. And so that ritual is ongoing, and that is what you have heard about. The reason that you come down here originally is on an errand for a dragon turtle named Klaugi Schildkröte. And you have, specifically completed the mission that Klaugi sent you on, which was to find out about this power, found out who it is and what it is. But the danger still remains to some degree that this ritual is taking place. You have sent Hari as a secret agent, a double agent, to the ritual room so that he may be able to aid you when you arrive there. Our party had been exploring many parts of the dungeon, and that is where we're going to go now. And you can see the parts that have been sort of revealed to our party. Currently, our party is in Area 10, where they have found a few things. They found a small altar that has a jade idol on it, a frog head, it looks like, that Alaron was looking at. And Elio, you had found a cloth bundle that had been stuck into one of the walls. If you remember, all of the walls here are sort of porous. It's very much almost like this entire cavern network was underwater at one point, but now is not any longer. So it is very wet down here, moist. There's a lot of condensation. It's murky and mucky. That's the way it smells. It is not humid. It is cold, so it is sort of clammy down here. Additionally, your group knows that there is some water to your south. You've sort of seen and smelled the water, and you know that there are two exit ways to your west and one exit way to your east, which is the way you came from. So you're not exactly sure what lies ahead, but you have heard there is some sort of church, if you will, or I guess the best way to sort of put it is, like a place of worship. And you have heard that there is sort of the leader of the trout folk, a entity that calls themselves the Crusher, that is ahead. And you also know, of course, that there is this portal room that is ahead somewhere as well. Hari warned you not to head to the south, not to head towards the water. But currently, Elio, you are unwrapping the cloth bundle and you are revealing what looks to be, at first glance, you would think it's like a unicorn horn. That's what it looks like. It looks like a long, thin object that is swirled and ends in a point. And that is what it looks like. It looks like a sort of a swirled horn. As you're examining it, you're realizing it has only been manufactured to look this way. That is actually, it seems more to be made out of some sort of ivory material, maybe out of a tusk or something like that. And you are seeing that there are elven runes on it. And the elven runes tell you that this wand apparently can detect magic. And that had the command word for the wand is written on it, quite helpfully for those elves who once used it. The command word is revelations. Alaron, you are over by the altar and sort of looking at the Jade idol. It's pretty big around, probably about the size of a cantaloupe. And it's just sort of sitting there on this rock shelf. What would you like to do, Elio?
I guess I'll test this thing out.
Okay. So you say the command word. Could you say the command word for us, please?
Revelations.
Indeed.
Don't want it to be overheard. Revelations.
Elio says that, and the ivory wand, the runes on it begin to flare with red magic. Sort of not an angry magic, more of a sort of a rose colored to some degree, but it is red.
I think the wand is saying that it is magic.
And everything in front of you within 30 feet basically glows magic. That is magic at this point. The things that glow magic are Callie's dagger. Anything else on you, Callie, that is glowing magic currently?
I have a sort of capey.
That's right. You have
mantle.
your mantle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have your mantle that's glowing magic, your cape. Anything else?
Well, Rimpy himself is.
Rimpy is magical. You're familiar. Definitely glows.
And that's kind of it for me.
Hashtag Rimpy magical.
Baking a glow today.
Heyo. Alaron is a beacon of magic. His helm glows red, like the rose color that are coming off the runes. That's the color that's glowing around the magic items as well. His helm is magical. His shield is magical. What else is magical for Alaron?
His cloak.
His turtle shell. Yeah.
I imagine there's various potions that are kind of glimmering at the belts of various.
That's what I'm guessing as well. That you all have sort of health potions as well. Also, though, Elio, the frog Jade head, the Jade head of the frog also glows magic. You can concentrate on one of these magical auras. You can do. You don't. It's you can do them in turn if you wanted to learn more about the magic. You're just sort of getting a feel for this wand, but you.
Well, the only one that's really surprising is the frog head. So let's focus on that and see if anything
Awesome.
else is revealed.
Indeed. And you are seeing that it looks to you as if you're focusing on it. You're not a magician, of course, by sort of any stretch of the imagination. Though you're familiar with magic.
I mean, by the stretch of imagination by which I can cast spells, I am a magician.
You are,
but I'm not a wizard.
You're not a wizard. That's correct.
I can do a lot of magic, though.
You can do a lot.
I do shoot fireballs.
That's very true. That's very true. I'm simply getting at that your magic is of the.
Oh, I have no idea how
exactly of the
I don't
heart.
understand it in the
Right?
slightest.
It's of the soul. It's of the heart. It's something
The
that's
sun?
natural to you to some degree that you evoke. But this magic that you're using with the wand is new to you, and so you're just sort of letting sort of like you normally would do, letting your heart guide you or your gut guide you to some degree, your feelings. And as you're looking more closely at the Jade head, you're realizing that there is a school of magic that is being revealed to you, and you believe that. You believe that the school of magic that is enchanting the Jade Froghead is illusion. That there's an illusion that has been cast upon this thing, or something. Something's going on with it.
I'm gonna look at Elio, who's like.
I'm just staring at this frog with this glowing unicorn horn thing pointed at it. I say, there is some trickery afoot with this.
I love trickery.
Frog head. Yes, Kelly, you know much of trickery. No offense.
Everything.
Yeah, to take a look.
How high up is this frog head? Is it just on like a mid-level
It's
altar?
Yeah, so it's on a sort of a stone outcropping that's in the wall, and it's actually placed a little lower. It looks like it's probably at a medium-sized creature's sort of like knees. So for you, Callie, it's like right about at your sort of your chest level, I guess.
Be careful. It could be evil magic.
I'm gonna walk over to it and just like do the whole like Indiana Jones like, and I'm going to grab it and swap Rimpy in place with it.
Your teacup pig.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I watch this and say, can't you do that with mage hands? Why did you take that risk?
You're not supposed to know I can do that.
I've seen you do it. You've probably done it to something I own.
You're minus one healing potion because of me, remember?
True. Very true. What's interesting, or more interesting as the case may be, is as Callie makes this quick switcheroo and Rimpy's like, what? Like just super surprised even that this is happening. As you grab the Jade Froghead, the mouth opens and starts to say something. And what it says is in a language you don't understand, unfortunately. But you can all make insight checks if you want.
Insight.
I'm gonna activate my helmet after that.
Natural one. Alaron, you're activating your helm as the words are coming out.
22.
22. Very nice. Cool. So, Callie, you're getting the sense that this is just gibberish. It might be some sort of who knows what. This is probably a prank, maybe, or something like that. Alaron, we'll get to you in just a second. But for Elio, you, with your amazing insight check, the words that are coming out of the mouth of this frog idol, you get the sense that they're almost like a command, almost like some sort of holy sort of charge, something like that. Like that this jade frog idol statue head is giving those who might be listening to it often some sort of command. Alaron, since the words are coming out before your helm is activated, you only really get the tail end of what it says. And you hear the sort of burbling language that you had no idea what it meant sort of transmogrify into words you can understand. And the words you understand are prepare his way.
Prepare his way.
Yeah.
I'm like,
What-
isn't it
what-
funny?
What language did it speak?
It's the same language as the trout folks speak.
None of the sounds it said sounded anything like Padisha, right? Because presumably that wouldn't be translated. Maybe.
You, with your amazing insight check, Elio, I think you would recognize that word is there isn't the word Padishah is not in being said. Is what you'd recognize.
We've seen a lot of the trout folk wearing this toad symbol. They seem to be perhaps heathens or apostates who have turned to this toad rather than the Cloudy's way. I wonder. What does that have to do with the Padishah, though?
Well, I'm gonna grab Rimpy. I head over.
Rimpy like sort of turns away from you. Is all like, meh.
We needed to perform a heist, Rimpy.
He nods at that, as if that makes all the sense in the world.
I give him like a
true.
little high five, and then I'm gonna bring the frog head over and hand it to Elio and be like, "It just sounds like it's talking funny joke time talk to me."
I kind of, I don't know, pick it up, wave it around, see if it makes noise again.
It does. As it exchanges hands, and Elio, you touch it, it does say the same thing you think again. It's
Okay, I quickly hold it up to Alaron's ears.
Indeed. Alaron, you do hear the whole word or the whole phrase this time, and it does, in fact, command, obey the Padishah, prepare his way.
I see. This is an item of the Padishah. This is something that his people must have put here as a way of worshiping him. Or perhaps something else more sinister.
Or he made them worship him by putting his words into this toad sculpture's mouth.
Either way, we need to go further. Hey,
It said obey the Padishah, prepare his way, right?
Yes, that's right. And Callie, could you make an Arcana check for me at this point, please?
We should remember those words. They might be part of
That's
some
a
mighty
ritual.
3, a 2.
Actually, a 2. So I got a what? I got a 4.
Cool, 4. You get the sense that this idol is not intrinsically magical, like it's not a magic item. You think there's a spell that's been cast on it, but you're not sure which spell.
Guys, I think this is some tricky trick right here. This is just like a magic spell. It's not even like special.
I kind of feel like we should just leave this where it was. I don't want it randomly talking and calling enemies to us.
True.
And if it's from the Padishah, I don't know, maybe he can find it or sense it or something. I don't like it. It's
all
weird.
logical assumptions.
Also, if they see it missing, they might go all crazy and try to come after us.
Well, if they knew we were here, they'd go crazy and come after us anyway.
Right, but I mean later, after we leave, if they come here, they could take a look at the altar, and I just don't see the point in carrying around this ugly little toad.
Actually, I do. On the way back, I'm taking it.
So you want me to leave it here now, and then you'll get it later?
Yeah, we'll leave it now because we don't want it to call attention to us. But on the way back, that's worth money.
It is a cantaloupe-sized piece of jade.
Oh, it is jade. Oh.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Ooh.
And I mean, it's worked jade. It's been worked into this sort of odd-looking toad face.
No,
But
I don't know. Alron, take it if you want it. I am inclined to move onward because there is an evil ritual we must stop.
I agree. We can loot later.
You should take it.
Callie, we'll get it later. Don't worry.
I'll mage hand it
No,
reluctantly
I
back
said
into
to
place.
continue on straight. I don't know which of these two are straight. I'm looking to the two passages to the west.
indeed, it is tough to tell. The best that you can tell, Elio, as you move forward to look a little bit more clearly, is that one of them has stairs that go down, and one of them does not. However, Elio, I would love for you to make a perception check for me as well as you sort of move to the western side of the room, are looking towards the passageways. Go ahead. 11. Oh, we know what that means.
Yes.
Well, if you don't know what that means, I'm going to tell you right now. We have a house rule here on the Secrets of Hammerfast stream where if you roll an 11 or an 11, as we like to call it, you can choose if you want to succeed on the roll. But if you do choose success, you will be at disadvantage on your next roll, whatever it may be. Elio, how are you feeling?
I will succeed.
You will succeed. Great.
I want to know.
You do. Callie, you are mage handing the idol back to where it sort of was. Alaron, you're just sort of keeping watch as well. Does anyone have a light source out at this point besides Elio's entire body? I mean, being a light source, does anyone have an actual light source? I know there was a light coin that was around for a second.
I have the coin.
You have so Alaron has a coin. Alaron, you also have dark vision. Callie does not. And
I have dark vision too, but it
yeah.
doesn't come out much because I'm always on fire.
Yep, exactly. Just so everyone knows. Also, is anyone bloodied at this point? Is anyone really hurt?
I think
We
we all healed up before we
rested.
headed out.
You
Yeah.
did. You took a long or short rest, definitely to heal up. Just want to make sure that no one's in a bad way or looks really wounded. Awesome. So our heroes, just for my own edification, how many hit dice do you each have? How many do you have, Callie?
How many left after the rest?
Yeah, left. Yeah, after the
I have
rest. Yeah.
one hit die left after the rest.
Just one. Okay. And how about you, Alaron? How many do you
I
have?
have 2 left.
And how about for you, Elio?
I have 5.
Yeah, you have a ton. That's right. Okay.
We've also we're also all under the effect of an aid spell still.
That's right. That's
Ooh.
right.
Up from that.
Yeah, so don't forget that your hit point maximum raised by 5. So you have 5 extra hit points.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Aid's a great spell. Indeed, the light of the sun, if you guys will remember, sort of warming your skin. Being with Elio all the time feels akin to being in a sunny glade. He does light everything up, including your spirits to some degree. Elio, with your success, you are able to tell that the stairs, they seem to be more wet. Like things get more wet down that way. But the straight ahead, if you will, or the level passageway, you hear chanting coming. It's very faint, but you hear chanting coming down from that way. It sounds to you religious in nature, as if there is some sort of ritual going on, or some sort of ceremony, or something like that.
I hear religion.
And it definitely does sound like the voices of trout folk. They're burbly voices. You can sort of hear them echoing ahead.
Fish religion.
Ooh.
My least favorite kind so far. Very well. My fellows, perhaps one of you would like to lead the way, as I fear my appearance may shock these poor primitive creatures. With
Cal,
mighty
do you want
majesty. And also they tend to stab at me when they see the fire.
I could like scout ahead a little bit. I'm pretty sneaky.
You are, Callie, but what would you do once you get there?
I might play a trick on them. I might come back. It kind of depends on what opportunity presents itself. But do you want me to come
I'm worried
back?
about you going in. I'm worried about you going in alone.
Yeah, I'm worried about me going in alone too.
How about I
Leave
come up
alone
with you?
Rippleton by your side.
True.
I'll come up with you, and Elio,
Sure,
if you hear
everybody
sounds,
else sneak ahead. Leave Elio behind. Why not?
and Elio, if you hear sounds of battle, you should follow behind us.
Yes, of course. Always.
And-
Elio
and when I say-
always.
And when I say if, I mean when, because
Of course.
we need to stop this ritual.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
So
say, may the light elongate your shadows. And I cast, I'll cast a guidance spell on Alaron since I think he's a little less sneaky than Callie.
awesome. Yes.
So he'll get
I'll
1d4
take that.
extra on his first skill check in the next couple minutes or whatever.
It's almost as if your shadow almost best way I can put it is almost as your shadow shrinks, as if you don't cast as much of a shadow in the light when he guides you. It's almost as if you're able to be that sneaky that you don't have a shadow. But the two of you, Alaron and Callie, you begin to move to take the lead. Only one of you can see in the dark, however, and there doesn't, at least as far as you can tell, there doesn't seem to be any illumination ahead. Are you illuminating your way, or are you going into the dark?
I hand Callie a closed something in my closed palm.
It's the coin.
The light coin, indeed.
The coin.
So I'll tug it under my cloak and just use it to light my feet so I can see the ground ahead of me. Just like
Okay.
a tiny, tiny bit.
Okay, so a dim sort of light. Okay, got it. Great. So you two start sneaking down the passageway. Could you please make stealth checks for me?
Stealth. Keep rolling bad.
Me too.
Got a 13 total.
13.
I also got a 13 total
Wow. All right. Very good.
using my skill dice.
Indeed. With your amazing 13s, you guys are sort of, you're definitely able to sneaking up. And you're sort of making your way forward. You're hearing the chanting getting louder. And as the room sort of, it does look like there's some illumination in here, even though it's very dim. It seems like there are some stone braziers that are in here. And it also looks like that there are a number of trout folk in here that are arrayed around a much larger idol, a much larger toad head idol. This one seems to have been brought here or something like that. It's made out of this greenish bluish, like aquamarine material that you cannot identify. But the trout folk seem to be chanting at it in their tongue, and they're sort of getting more and more animated and as their ritual is going on. And you can see it almost looks like water is sort of pouring or dripping out of the bottom of the idol, like it's melting or something, but it's not getting any smaller. It's almost like it's just manifesting water out of it. Callie, Alaron, as you two both sneak up, it seems that there are 4 trout folk here. Excuse me, did I say 4? Yes, there are 4. There are 4 trout folk here. And the one that's furthest in the back perks up as you guys are sneaking in. And it sort of looks like turns its weird head. And let's take a quick look at our... Do we have our trout folk? No.
I forgot about the thing they can do.
Yeah, they can do that thing. They do seem to be very perceptive, and they have this otherworldly perception. They've been able to see ethereal creatures. They've been able to see invisible creatures. And it seems as if your sneaking, unfortunately, is not enough. As the one in the back turns around and just goes, "Nah!" as he points at you. And we should all roll initiative at this point.
Is your mind loud enough for me to hear it?
Elio, you should roll initiative. Yes, I think it is loud enough for you to hear it, since you could hear them sort of anyways. Also, Elio, don't forget to write down that you now have the wand of detect magic.
Yes, I've got it.
Okay, good.
Oh, that
Awesome.
bowl.
Yes, you do have that bowl.
That bowl.
Yes, you do have that bowl, as a matter of fact. What did you get on your initiative, Elio?
Well, with my disadvantage from my lemon, I got a 3.
Ah, yep, that'll do it. And for you, Alaron?
I got a 10.
Nice. Callie?
8.
Ooh, okay.
We're doing well, huh?
Yeah.
Indeed. So the trout folk go first. They continue their chant. And as they do, they sort of all look over to you guys and become much more animated. They seem to be pulling out spears. They also have these sort of what look to be shields that are made out of like dried skin. It looks like maybe the skin of trout folk or something like that. Like they're using their own people to create weapons or armor. And as they are chanting out of the altar, the large altar, more water begins to pour and pour and pour until finally something starts to rise up out of the water. And this is what you see rising up out of the water.
Not good.
Indeed. Not good at all. And it does seem to be some form is rising out of the water. The trout folk are very focused on making this happen, though, and as such are not able to run towards you to engage you. They do sort of form up a little bit, like they're aware of you, and they look to be defending themselves. Alaron, the chanting that they're doing is sort of in it is true. It's not gibberish per se, but it's even with your comprehend languages helmet, it's a little tough to follow. Effectively, you're getting the sense that they are summoning a creature from the plane that the Padi Shah is from to make this place more acceptable to the Padi Shah. And so this creature is directly from the plane of water that the Padi Shah is coming from, that they are manifesting this creature here. It is Elio's turn. No, excuse me. It is not Elio's turn. I apologize.
It is probably everybody but Elio's turn before it's Elio's turn.
It is not Elio's turn. But what is happening is I'm going to throw us over to another map so we can get a little bit more in the mood here. And we'll get this guy a little bit smaller. You guys are seeing a little bit of on-air sleight of hand as we get our battle a little bit situated here. So we have trout folk, and we have this other creature that is sort of coming for you guys. It is rising up out of the water, and you can tell, Alaron and Callie, as it's rising up, it is a large creature. It is quite large, and it seems to be sort of getting its bearings. It moans, going, "Roar!" Alaron, you understand what it says with your comprehend languages helmet, as it says, "This is not my home." And then it sort of focuses.
This is not my beautiful wife.
Yeah, right. That's quite all right. We'll definitely take those types of references here. Anytime the talking heads we can reference them, we're very happy. But it does immediately recognize the trout folk who are wearing the symbols of the potty shaw, the frog head, the toad head. It sort of recognizes them as allies, whereas it recognizes both you, Callie, and Alaron. Not. It doesn't seem to It doesn't seem to see you. You guys are stealthed. It doesn't seem to have caught. It doesn't seem to have as good a perception, trout folk, and it has not found you. But as the trout folk are sort of pointing at you and yelling at it in their tongue, which they're saying, intruders, kill the interlopers. It does seem to get that and sort of looks over at you guys and realizes that there are intruders here. It is your turn, Alaron. What would you like to do?
Callie, stay behind, and I run forward with my shield and sword ready.
Awesome. As I mentioned, there are 4 trout folk, and now this water creature that is manifesting.
I try to get in the center of all of them and get their attention. I bang my shield with my blade, and I go for the nearest trout folk.
Go ahead and make your attack. Yeah, as you rush forward into the fray.
First attack is a 16.
That is totally a success.
Second attack is a 13.
That is also a success.
Sweet. Uh, 2 attacks, 18 damage.
Please describe for us how you defeat this creature.
I start slashing at it quickly with my rapier over, and then get an artery, and it bleeds out.
Yeah, and it just drops. Its voice silenced as the chanting coming from it ends. Callie, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
Seeing how easily Alaron dispatched this one, I'm like, these guys aren't as tough as I thought. And I am going to begin to summon a misty fog of sleepiness.
Ooh.
I'm going to center it over like right where Alaron is standing, and this like fog starts to like boil out of the ground and sort of float up towards these trout folk.
Indeed, you're up ding, 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 as the foggy mist begins to rise. Please roll 5d8 so we can find out how many hit points worth of creatures will fall asleep.
27.
Very nice. One of the trout folk falls over. Clunk. The other 2 are still up, as is the water creature. And so the trout folk are burbling to each other, trying to sort of get ready to attack Alaron, to repel him, it looks like. Elio, it is your turn. You are a good distance away, but with a double move, with a run, dash, as it were, you think you could get to them if you wanted to do that? Or you can do something else, of course.
Yeah, I'm just going to dash up. I'm going to be, I guess, like kind of near Callie, but not quite in the front lines of Alaron yet.
That's right. You rush down the corridor. You come into the scene. You see the big idol with the water now pouring out of its bottom. Almost this pool of water that's gathering around it, though, doesn't seem to be spreading any further than about 10 feet from it. And out of that 10-foot pool that's now conglomerating around, or congealing even, manifesting around this idol, this form of water is rising up out of it. Elio, I would love for you to, you can make an intelligence check. If you have Arcana, you can add your proficiency.
I do not have Arcana. I rolled a 2.
A 2.
It's a giant water monster.
Yeah, giant water monster. Bad news. Cool. Then we'll go back to the top of the round. It is the trout folk. The 2 that are awake rush you, Alaron. They are definitely attempting to spear you. and one of them rolls a 1, and the other gets a 22 to hit you.
Considering that a +3 is still going to hit me, I'm going to let this one hit me.
Awesome. So you're going to be taking 4 points of piercing damage as one of their spears pierces into you. The water creature then lumbers towards you, just sort of crashing like a wave before just sort of like almost like a weird somersault as it comes back up. It's formless. You can't really tell if it has arms or legs. It just has this like sort of a silhouetted eyes and a mouth within the water. It's very tough to tell, but as it rolls towards you, it sort of gets up to its huge natural height. It's about 8 feet tall, and 2 whipping arms come out as they sort of try and crash down upon you, trying to slam you. The first one misses you, and the second one will get a 26 to hit you.
That hits.
You'll take 13 points of damage.
As it whips down at him, a bright flash of light sparks up and flares at it. I'm going to see if I can use a warding flare. It has a disadvantage for this.
And that disadvantage does help. The warding flare doesn't just distract it, it actually cuts off its watery tendril at the elbow.
Wow.
As it's basically coming to slam down on you with this watery tendril, and then it's cut off at the elbow as Elio speaks this word. There's a flash of fire and light, sunlight, as the watery arm is just sort of dispersed and destroyed, and water smashes onto the ground all around you, Alaron. You're definitely getting wet, your boots, your legs, as water is just sort of spraying you as this thing is trying to smash you. You're too quick, though, as it's like whip-like arms are trying to smash down onto you. It is your turn, Alaron. What would you like to do? You're now engaged with 3 creatures.
I'm going to divide my attacks and do one at one of the trout folk and one for the other one that's standing next to me.
You got it.
It's 15
Success.
and a 17.
Also a success.
Are any of these creatures engaged with Callie just by chance?
No, you rushed forward to sort of engage
Protect
them.
Callie.
Yeah.
Okay. One takes 12 damage, the other one takes 10 damage.
Awesome. They're both bloodied, but they're both still up.
I'm going to action
Oh,
surge.
yeah.
And I'm going to do another whirlwind at both of them. Sweet. The low was a 15.
15's good.
And 11 and max damage. 11 and 13 to the other.
Please describe how you defeat these creatures.
A dervish dance. I'm just dancing around, slashing at them, weakening them little by little, and then go for each one's throat quickly as they fall one by one.
Nice. Indeed, they do. The trout folk cannot stand against you, Alaron, but the watery creature does, and it continues to try and catch you, though you're dancing around it as well. Callie, what would you like to do?
So this bowl that I've kind of been wearing on my head and sometimes not.
Yeah. This bowl.
I'm gonna like look at it and think, can this bowl help me in any way? I'm attuned with it.
Yeah, you get the sense that this bowl will summon something. That is what you attuned and learned from it. You did learn the summoning word from the attunement, but you do believe that it will only work once per day. So now's the time. But
I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna actually, I'll pop it back on my head and dart forward with my dagger.
All right, you rush forward.
Wearing a bowl on my head. So take a stab. Oh, I
With
got
your-
with my dagger.
Dagger.
I got a 21.
Well done. That's totally a success. How much damage do you do?
Just a regular roll. Ooh, but I did 10 piercing damage, magical damage.
You do
With
get sneak attack.
Yeah, don't forget sneak attack because
Oh, is
Alaron's
Alaron threatening? Oh yeah, you are. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's an additional 8 on top of that.
18 in total. You poke this thing with your dagger, and it's almost like you poked it with some sort of like red hot iron. Like it stabs into it, and it just instinctually like moves away from your reach as it sort of moans, even like a moo. Alaron, you can hear it in whatever language it's speaking, saying, pain, pain. This creature does not seem to be very intelligent.
Callie, whatever you did, keep doing that.
She
Okay.
stabbed it. That's what she does to everything.
Elio, it is your turn.
This creature is weak to being stabbed.
Yes.
How unusual. I am going to Sacred Flame as a
Awesome.
sphere of holy sunlight starts to burn right near the creature's face.
And what is your save?
14.
That's a failure on my part, so a success on your part.
Failure. Ooh, that is 15 radiant damage as I roll very near to max. There's a brilliant burst of sunlight that I guess reflects and refracts on the inside of the wave.
Indeed, and it does. And the creature continues to moan about pain as this reflected sunlight is steam is sort of coming up from it too, where it's burnt. It's like this fire and water are mixing. It does seem to be distracted and unhappy about these things. And it is its turn. Callie, it's really not into what you're selling. So it as it sort of like moved away, like water, obviously, like very quickly, liquidly dodged away from you. It goes up, and then it just like falls over on top of you like a tree. And you should make a strength saving throw, please.
My best.
Yeah.
I got a 17.
Whoa, that's
I got an
really
18 on the
good.
die.
Awesome. So you basically throw yourself sort of backwards as the water smashes into you. It's almost like you're diving into it. Like, so you're not letting it smush you, like you're diving into the water and through it, basically, as it sort of smashes down where you just were. And you end your turn basically outside of the water instead of being smashed by it. And that is its turn. It's your turn, Alaron. What would you like to do?
I'm going to continue my dance and slash into this pool of water.
Awesome. Go ahead and make your first attack. And second attack, too.
That's 21.
Success.
Oh, 2 21s.
Both successes. Nice. How much damage do you do?
The first attack does 12 damage. And the second attack does 12 damage. What is going on?
Awesome. Well done. Alaron, as you're stabbing into it, the creature does not complain of any pain. Indeed, it almost as if your blows are having much less of an effect than they might otherwise on a creature that was made of flesh and blood. You're stabbing into water, and water doesn't seem to really mind so much. Oddly, you do feel as if the tip of your blade is maybe scraping against something solid. But you definitely get the sense that you're having less of an effect than you might normally. As if this creature is resistant to your weapon.
Callie, it's your weapon. Make sure you use the magic weapon at all times.
Yes, to poke.
No playing cards.
It's your turn, Callie.
It's my chance to poke again. I'm like drenched right now. Like my hood is just like matted, and Rimpy is pretty upset because he's also drenched. And we're gonna spin around and try to stab back into the big sloshy puddle that's.
Yes. Well, as the puddle hit, it immediately starts to turn back into this thing as it's rising back up.
Ooh, the
So
pillar of water.
Into the pillar of water, exactly. And why don't you make an Arcana check for me at this point, Callie?
9.
9. Yeah, you're not exactly sure what this is. It's obviously from another plane.
It's an alien creature. Oh wait, I'm starting to sound like Elio.
Yeah, that's fine.
Make my attack. Oh, I critted it! For once.
Awesome.
2s and 3s at the beginning.
Awesome. So you will add an extra weapon die.
Cool.
And you'll add an extra sneak attack die.
Oh my god. So an extra singular sneak attack die, or so 4d6 instead of 3?
Wait, no, I'm wrong about that. I think you actually double your sneak attack die. No,
Yeah, the
my
rule is that you double the dice, but I don't. You can house rule it, obviously.
Yeah, no, yeah, you double the dice. So you double your weapon die, right? That's why I said add an extra weapon die. So you're doing 2d6 and then however 66, I guess it is. So 8d6 right now.
So many. Okay, wait.
You monster.
So that's a 5, 11, 12, 17, 17, 23. So 29.
Whoa!
Wait, 29 plus an additional 6. So that's 35 damage.
Wow.
Nice.
Dude. Well done. You basically follow Alaron's advice, but your application is all you. You're such an expert at this. You leap up, and basically, as it's forming, you're coming down, and your blade just cuts it in half, in twain. The power of this magical short sword is such that the water creature hates it. It gets away from it as quickly as possible. And the best way to do that is to literally split itself in half. As half of it sloughs off and just hits the ground as inert water, and the rest of it sort of jukes to the side. It seems as if it's been diminished somehow.
I yell at it. I'm like,
as if it's
nobody
bloody.
makes me take a bath.
Rimpy's also unhappy about being forced with a bath. Forced bath. Forced bathing. All right, Elio, what's good?
Sacred flame. I'm gonna.
Failure on my part.
All right.
Damage.
This roll isn't quite as good. It's only 8 radiant damage.
8 radiant damage. Good enough, though. The creature is rebuffed by that.
So yeah, I'm just gonna say there's like a little kind of floating sun in the air, and I'm just kind of directing it with my spear as it swoops through the air as
Nice.
this thing moves around.
Yeah, it's almost like a sprite is like coming in and just striking it again and again. It is the sounds that it's making are very much like almost like whales underwater. It's like like it's these weird sort of alien sounds, but the sounds are angry. They are not like friendly whale sounds. They're like angry.
Well,
angry.
Yeah, we seem to be not super friendly to one another at this point
Yeah,
in time.
that's very, very true. And that being the case, the creature again rears up and it tries to smash down upon you, Callie. Go ahead and make another strength saving throw, please.
I earned this one. Let's see. I got a 3.
A 3. You're going to take 13 bludgeoning damage.
Ugh.
As this water falls upon you, it's too quick for you to react. Unfortunately, you are also grappled as you are now floating inside this thing. It has overwhelmed you, and you are restrained and unable to breathe as well, as you are just like trapped in this thing now. Awesome.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't call it awesome.
That's pretty awesome. All right, Alaron, it's your turn.
I want to go for Callie's legs and try to pull her out of the creature.
Okay, that's totally cool. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Before I do this, I take an earthen jug that's by my side. I remove the cork and I swallow the potion.
Okay, so taking a potion is an action.
Oh, okay.
So you won't be able to potion and free Callie in the same turn. Do you want to do one or the other?
I'm going to do one. I'm going to just try and save Callie.
Okay, then you'll make an athletics check.
Oh, that's a 1.
A 1. You basically try and throw your arm in, but the creature just rebuffs you as it sort of smacks you away with its own arms. And you're just sort of rebuffed backwards. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
I'm going to take out that potion and get it ready.
Get it ready. Get it ready. All right. Callie, at the start of your turn, you take 13 bludgeoning damage as this thing is crushing you. It's like the pressure within it. It's just trying to just crush you.
Bad. Okay.
And it's your turn.
Well, I guess the only thing I can try to do is just wriggle out of the grapple.
Yes. That would be an escape check. That's right. So that would be athletics or acrobatics. It's up to you.
Better at acrobatics.
All right, acrobatics it is. Go ahead and try and acrobatic your way out of there.
Try to shimmy. 10.
10 is not enough. Now, here's a very important question. What is your constitution modifier?
+1.
+1. Okay. So you can hold your breath for 1 minute.
Oh.
All right. So just to let you know.
Oh, she'll be crushed to death long before
Yes,
that.
yes, you'll be crushed to
Yeah.
death long.
I'm
But
at
if you're
11, not
just
not
letting-
counting the 5 temporary.
Just letting you know, that exactly that right that you can't breathe, right? You're holding your breath effectively at this point.
Mhm.
Very good. Elio, it is your turn.
All right, I'm very hesitant to try fire damage against this thing, so I am going to just continue with the sacred flames. So
Yeah.
that's radiance, pure and holy.
Sacred flame, it crits it on this one.
Oh,
So unfortunately, no glow. It sees your sun sort of sprite coming at it, and just a hole appears in it as the sun sprite goes right through it.
I am going to say not so fast, and I'm going to redirect the light. It sort of breaks apart and redirects downward into Callie as I cast healing word on her.
Yes, totally.
I'm going to cast it at level 3
Very good.
to give her back a little extra hit points. So that is great. Sorry, that's only 7 points of damage that are healed. I rolled very poorly.
That's
That'll
enough
be
to
enough
not die.
Yeah, not die, not enough to keep her alive. All
That's
right.
what I do.
Yeah, because going unconscious while not being able to breathe is bad news. But we'll see what happens with that. Alaron, the creature focuses on you as it swings its arms down, trying to smash you. The first hit is a miss, and the second attack is also a miss, as you're just too dexterous for it, as it's trying to just catch you up in its arms. It is your turn, Alaron.
Taking this potion is still going to be an action, right? So I'm just going to try and get Callie out again.
Go ahead and make your athletics check as you attempt to dive in after her.
18.
That is definitely enough.
Yes.
As you plunge in, basically grab her by her little legs, and then use your abs to like throw yourself back, basically outwards. You pull her out. Callie, you are right there, basically prone, unfortunately, as you sort of hit the ground in front of Alaron. But you can breathe again, and you're not restrained any longer, and that's definitely helpful.
Yes.
And it is your turn.
I'm like,
As well.
thank you.
You're welcome, Callie.
It's like this disgusting puddle, and I'm gonna kind of like stagger to my feet and just throw my dagger at this creature.
Awesome. You throw the dagger.
So I got a 23.
That's a success. How much damage do you do? Don't forget to do sneak attack.
Sneak attack. That is 10, 14, 17, 23.
Nice.
23. Very nice. Awesome. Wow. Yeah, your dagger, whereas it tries to split in half, or make a hole in it basically again, like it did where Elio was trying to hit it with his sun sprite. And your dagger catches it on one side of it basically and sticks in it, and it's writhing around the blade like it's just in such pain as the blade disappears and reappears back in your hand. And it is your turn, Elio.
All right. How does this thing does this thing look like it's wavering at all, or
Yes, definitely. You should make an insight check, I think.
insight? That crit
Crit,
26.
Wow. Yeah, it is
I
bloody.
understand this thing's life story.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Hopes
bloody.
and fears.
You're realizing that this is a water elemental. It's very clear to you
What a
now.
shock!
It's definitely a water elemental. It doesn't seem to be a very powerful water elemental, but it is a your run of the mill, pretty powerful water elemental. it is on its last legs for sure. You think that that another stab like Callie just did will bring it down, maybe even less than that. It's very hurt.
Okay. I am going to use my channel divinity and radiate out the radiance of the dawn as waves of light kind of roll off of me, pulsing, just because that does damage, even if it succeeds on its fortitude save.
Cool. It gets a 14 Constitution save.
Exactly saves,
Yep.
unfortunately, but it will still take some damage.
Yeah. How much does it take?
Let me roll those dice and find out. So, oh, geez. It's only 5 damage after
What?
you half it.
Well, that's why. Yes, 5 damage after the half is happiness for you because it only has 3 hit points left. So go ahead and describe for us how Elio the Illuminator destroys the water elemental.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say,
with his channel divinity.
yeah, as this light kind of ripples out from me, it's hitting it and kind of reverberating within it. It's getting this like harmonic frequency as the waves also kind of wobble, and it
Yeah.
glows brighter and brighter, and kind of spray of water is flowing off of it until there's only light within the waves. And as there's a final kind of bright pulse of light, the water, some portion of it, some like deep portion of it in the core of it, escapes in a huge bubble of steam, and the rest just falls to the ground as ordinary inert water.
Indeed. And I'll take this a step further as well, as the waves of light that are radiating off of Elio are so warm that they actually bake this place so that the water on the ground, on the walls, on the idol is steam as well, as this place is just dried by Elio's manifestation of his god's power.
And then I will open up a sauna. I'll charge the trout folk for entry. Become rich.
And with that, combat ends. Save for the trout folk that was asleep on the ground. They were also in the radius of this channel divinity.
Ah, yes.
They also saved.
Ah.
So they took some damage and they start to sort of wake up, basically. What would you guys like to do?
I put my sword in his face and I say, down or die.
Cool. Make an intimidation check.
18.
Bad. Callie, what are you doing?
I guess I'm gonna cough up some water and then I'm gonna stand behind Aileron with my dagger ready, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, what he said.
Cool. And Elio, anything you want to do?
I am going to. Sorry, let me scroll and make sure I can see the map here. Does it look like there's another kind of exit towards the south near where we came in?
It's funny that you asked that. Why don't you make a perception check?
Yeah, I'll just turn around and face back the direction I came from, and with like my guard up, just to be sure we aren't caught by surprise. But I will make a perception check as part of that. Where's my dice? Here's my die. That is a 15 on perception.
Great. Yeah, you realize that this sort of stone wall here, it looks like as you're looking at it more closely and in the light, that there's some sort of natural camouflage. It almost is like an optical illusion where it looks like this is a solid wall, but there is actually a way to pass through it. It almost looks like some sort of natural secret cavern or something like that.
Okay. Take that.
Awesome.
What does this trout folk do?
The trout folk is cowering. Aileron has definitely been able to intimidate them. Their weapons, they've already dropped when they fell asleep. So they're just sort of holding up their shield. And as Aileron sort of makes this command, they just sort of cower, and their big bubbly eyes are just sort of burbling, looking at you guys. They don't seem to really understand a lot of what you're saying, Aileron, but the intention is very clear.
Callie, do you want to tie this one up to make sure it doesn't tell anyone else we're here?
Gladly.
Cool. What are you using to tie it up?
Well, I have a few, I guess, a length of rope.
Hmm.
That's about it. That's all I've got. Let's see, my burglar's pack. I've got 50 feet of rope.
Yeah, totally. So you can tie him up with 50 feet of rope.
This
You-
trout folk is exactly 51 feet wide.
Exactly.
Curses.
Curses.
And I'm gonna
are you
tie
tying-
a bell around him too in case he tries to move, it'll jingle.
Nice. Are you tying him to anything, or just he's just on the ground tied up, like hog tied?
I'm just gonna hog tie him.
Awesome. You notice that his skin is super wet and slippery, even though he's been burned recently. It seems like he naturally self-generates like a fish oil type, like he's an fishy fish.
Ew.
So he's sort of, skin is weird and slick, but you are definitely tying him up, and you put a bell on him as well. Cool.
I'm gonna. Sorry, is there still like an idol in the center of the room? Did that turn into
Yeah.
the statue or something? Or the
No,
elemental? No,
it's quite
there.
large. There is the aquamarine material. It looks like a stone, but it's not like any stone that you've seen before. Elio, you get the sense that this idol is not of this world, that it might be from another plane as well.
Sorry, I forgot if you described earlier. Does it look like a toad again, or is it just
It does.
like?
Yeah, it's a larger sized version of the Jade idol you saw in the room previous.
Is it made of jade?
No, it's not. The sort of mineral that is made out of. You should make a nature check, I guess. In fact, you can all make nature checks if you want.
I mean,
Sure.
That's to say I can make a nature.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Got a 17.
I got a
17.
what do I know with a 2?
2. Alaron, how about you?
This is definitely made of rock.
13.
13. Yeah, Elio, you are not familiar with this mineral or this material. It does seem to be rock-like. You're not sure what the properties of it are. If it is from another plane, which you do believe, it probably has some sort of special properties. And that being the case, yeah, that's basically it.
I will use my wand of revelation on it if I can.
Cool. Yeah, you totally can use your wand. We'll get back to that in a second.
Okay.
Alaron, you're very sure, thanks to your schooling, that you've never been exposed to a mineral like this. It could be that it's just incredibly rare, but it could also be that it's just not of your world, and that's why it's you don't know any, you don't really know what it is per se. You do get the sense that as you're looking at it, I think you do get the sense that it has sort of a quality about it, like it almost like a lava lamp quality, like the inside of it is moving or something like that. Like it's sort of a weird, like something, not like something's in there. It's just like part of its own makeup is that it's kinetic, that it has maybe some sort of hard shell, an outer shell, and then it's more liquid inside or something like that. It's tough to tell exactly. Callie, you get all that as well, but you believe you know what this is. You've heard many tales, and you believe that this is sea glass. This is some sort of magic material that you've heard. You've even seen it before. Now that you are up close, but you've only seen like tiny pieces, like a talisman or a necklace or like a bead on a bracelet or a tiny earring. Like very small pieces you've seen of this. And this material is easily enchanted, and it does have a connection to the elemental plane of water.
So when you say she's seen it, so the cloudy statue we saw was just made of regular glass, or not the sea glass?
I'm sorry, the statue, as it were, is this sea glass idol of this toad head.
Right. I was wondering if it, because we also had the glass statue of Cloudy that we found that was was
thank
a
you.
power thing for the castle. I was wondering if it was the same type of thing, or if it was.
That is a great question, and it is. Yes. though the sea glass that the Klaugi Schildkröte statue was made out of seems to be of a different variant.
Yeah, it's
Where-
probably all cut and refined and fancy.
Yes, exactly. Where this is much less refined,
This is made by crappy trout folk with
Yeah.
lousy art skills,
as it were. Yes.
amateurs.
Oh man. Well, I mean, did we end the ritual or that?
I don't think this was the ritual. I think this was a ritual because we need to find the portal. The portal that led back to the Fey realms.
There's too much
I
religion
believe
going
you're correct,
on.
Allie.
That horrific elemental creature was not the Padishah. It didn't look anything like Hari.
Callie's like,
But we're in a dead end room, it looks like.
You, fish, where is the Padishah?
The trout folk looks at you like it has just like it's impassive. It has its fishy face and it's just like.
Don't be smart with me, fishman.
Alaron, you can understand that the fish creature is saying in its tongue. It's saying. It's saying. It's saying, "Curse you for chasing us from our home. Curse you for bringing us low. The Padishah will deal with you."
I sort of get down on my knees. I snap my fingers, and my face immediately becomes extra shadowed, and the flames flare up with like bright
Ooh.
red fire from my thaumaturgy. And I say, the trout folk back in the castle are in their home. You coward traitor fled here. You will not know mercy unless you tell us of the Padishah. Your people shall all be caught like the fishes they are, and served up at the dinner table of greater people than they, unless you can tell us where the Padishah is and align yourself with the forces of justice. I'm not messing around.
This trout folk tries to bite your face, Elio. You can make an insight check if you would like.
I insight into its open mouth with a 16. I stare.
Nice.
I
Well,
stare down its throat.
Really, what's going on is you realize that there's a failure to communicate here. That it has no idea what you're saying. It does not speak common. However, your words are rather your tone is very clear, and it is intimidated by you. However, the form that it's intimidation, or rather what it's doing it with its intimidation, is trying to attack you. It's trying to bite your face with its really sharp teeth. Even though it's tied up, it still has its teeth. But because you're too far away from it, its teeth basically snap shut right in front of your face. And
I don't think we're getting anything useful out of this guy.
No.
I get down his level and I stare him in the eye and just say Padishah and put my blade to his throat.
Okay. Well, that's pretty clear. Cool. He sort of burbles a laugh, but nods sort of to your south, if you will, off this way.
Into the wall?
I mean, this direction.
Okay.
Yes,
Not
we
as
found
if-
I will mention now. I believe there is a way to continue south. I noticed that there seemed to be some way to slip through the wall there. There is bizarre natural camouflage.
Good
But
job,
I
Elio.
wonder-
Ooh.
Good
Oh.
job.
Thank you. Of course. I will always do my best for the team. What do we do with this one?
I don't want my bell back. We can just leave him.
He might slip loose of the bonds eventually. His teeth are sharp and his skin is slimy.
Yeah, he's gross.
You're right, but I can't kill someone in my capture.
Yes, it does not seem particularly heroic or noble, does it?
We can
Uh,
we can hope that.
You, oh son.
I point at the creature and I point towards the eggs and just like tell him to leave.
He is tied up. But even so, he starts sort of like inching his way that way, like rolling or whatever. Any movement he can make.
I'm good with that. He can do it slowly.
Cool. So yeah, he's basically inching away.
like log rolling.
Yeah, like log rolling away, basically. He's taking your rope and your bell with him. Ring, 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 ring.
No,
ring.
Callie took the bell.
Oh, she took that. You took the bell back.
I'm
All right.
gonna,
Yeah.
I'm
I guess he's
gonna run over and slap him and grab the bell back.
awesome. You're leaving your rope on him though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Subtract your rope.
I give Callie my rope.
All right. Never mind. Don't subtract your rope.
Oh,
I'll subtract.
Yeah.
You've been very kind to me, Alaron. Thank you for pulling me out of that nasty bath situation. I thought I was going to be bathed to death.
I never noticed it, Callie, but you actually smell nicer.
You know, orphans, we don't make a habit out of cleaning. It's like a mark of pride, how dirty you are. You understand.
There's
Orphan town is culturally very foreign to me.
There's a reason her familiar is a pig.
Yes.
Aren't pigs actually really clean?
Rimby actually does sparkle. He's very clean.
Well, he's also magical. That doesn't count.
Awesome. Where are you guys going?
I say secret door.
Yes.
I concur.
Who's going in first?
I will.
Do we want to have the rogue check for traps?
I could.
Callie, I'm afraid of. Sure.
These
That's
fishermen already set one nefarious trap for us.
They
Well,
did.
You're right.
Nefarious. They put up a net.
They're bad at traps. This will be easy.
A nefarious net. Cool. Go ahead and make your perception. Everyone can make a perception check. You're all there.
You can all look at a wall.
Perception.
6.
Mighty 6.
I got 12.
22.
Nice. Elio, Callie, you guys can tell indeed it looks like that this is a natural occurring sort of camouflage where it's an optical illusion where it's like basically two walls and then the third wall a little bit further behind it, but they all look like one wall basically. So it's almost like a T intersection. You could go left or you could go right. That's what you're able to tell. It doesn't look like there are any traps. Alaron, you're also able to tell these things. There are no traps. You can see the T intersection, but there are a few things that you notice that the others don't. First, you notice that it looks like there are a lot of scuffs on the stone floor, especially near here where it looks like things have been dragged here. It actually looks like stone on stone or something like that has been dragged here and has actually been moved through this passageway. You're also able to tell that it sort of smells a little bit like rotting flesh in there.
If no one else smells that, I'm not going to bring that to attention. But the drag marks, do they look like continuous drag marks, or were they're the stop and start? Like
it looks continuous up until sort of the entry to the passageway, and then it looks like they stop.
And the drag marks, do they lead to anything in the room?
Yeah, they lead to the altar, the idol.
Oh, okay. There you go.
They lead from the idol to the entryway to the secret area.
Maybe the Padishah sent it through the portal and they dragged it or something?
That seems likely.
Maybe the sea glass is really heavy.
I mean, I try to lift it up. Is it really heavy?
Yes, it is. It's quite large of
Confirmed. It's heavy.
It is probably the size of like an igloo.
Okay, so it doesn't even budge.
Yeah, it's big. Like it's
okay.
big.
We'll have to send someone down for this later.
Piece by piece. Well, I think we could look down there, but it smells pretty nasty.
Well, I think we need to go this way, unfortunately, Callie.
Then let's go this way. I fear no stink.
Who goes first?
Alaron goes first.
Alaron, you head in. Who's second?
I'll go second.
Ilio, the Illuminator, and Callie and Rimpy bringing up the rear.
Mm-hmm.
The three of you go in. With your illumination and your dark vision, you're able to see very quickly what's going on. You find a very small chamber. Doesn't look like there are any exits from it. Looks like there was sort of a naturally occurring wall, but you were able to find your way through it through Ilio's perception. In here, there are no exits that you can see. It looks like there is a bunch of rock debris, much like some large altar or idol was smashed and destroyed, and then the pieces were deposited here. Additionally, there are corpses here, troutfolk corpses. These corpses are arrayed, from what you can tell, in the clothing of holy people, of priests. They're wearing sort of vestment-looking type things. I think you should all make investigation checks, please.
7.
5.
5.
A critical 20.
Whoa!
Hey.
Callie, Alaron, you are able to tell that it looks like the statue. It actually reminds you of something you've seen before. It reminds you of the statue that you collected from the Fey Tower of Klaugi Schildkröte. Looks like this may have once been an altar or an idol of Klaugi, and that these dead priests were once worshippers of the dragon turtle. Seems you're seeing the evidence of the Padishah's reign taking effect. Ilio, you get all that. It's obvious that this was not a sea glass statue, just a regular stone statue. It looks like it was made out of sort of like coral stone, so it's a bit porous.
Yeah, and presumably I've kind of picked up bits and pieces of what, like from Ziganud, of what their religion and the religious stuff looks like that they worship.
Exactly. And these two priests, for lack of a better term, shamans, they're wearing similar sort of clothing and vestments as Ziganud, who is the archpriest of Klaugi Schildkröte for those trout folk that dwell above. The trout folk have obviously split. The more evil ones are down here worshiping and following the Padishah. But what is perhaps most interesting to you, Ilio, with your amazing critical of an investigations check, is that
Sherlock Holmes hat.
Yep, is that while your revelation using your wand was able to show you that indeed the large idol of the toad head is magical. It seems as if there are magical things in here as well. Specifically, the necklaces that these priests are wearing. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It seems our heroes have found a great place to take a rest. They want to do a hidden, secluded room. There are some corpses in here, but you can't always get what you want. But we hope you tune in next time for our 20th episode, the ultimate session of our 3rd chapter. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I am Ken Breeze, Burling's Beard. I am a concierge DM in the New York City area. Check out my website of the same name and hire me to run your next game. We have some amazing players with us as well. We have Kelsey playing Callie. Kelsey, thank you so much for playing. You're awesome. And where can we find more of you and your work if we want to check you out?
Thank you. You can find me on thearcanelibrary.com. I make adventures and like DM gaming aids.
That's right. And you have a free adventure for the Tomb of Annihilation, right?
Yeah, first level like introductory adventure for a good like Chult style setting. So that's a free download if you join the Arcane Library, and it's fun to give it a little scope out. You know?
Yeah, give it a scope out. It's a good one. Awesome. Anthony playing Alaron. Anthony, love it. We love you. Thank you for being on the stream. Where can we catch up with you, bud?
You could catch me on Instagram. I'll allow it. You could catch some D&D related artwork.
You've been doing a lot of character illustrations recently, which has been really awesome to see.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Is that something you just do as a hobby, or do you take commissions?
Mostly as a hobby. I would take commissions, but I'm a full-time dad on top of a full-time art director, so it's hard for me to get to side projects.
Well, we're always happy whenever we see
Fair
any of your
enough.
work on Instagram, on the Gram. And Thomas, you also post illustrations of your work, or rather, your work as illustrations.
Yeah, I'm doing some Inktober activities, and
Oh,
I
cool.
tend to post most of my stuff on Twitter. Out of the various social medias, you can find me at Soul of Twit, TWHIT, like my name.
Awesome. We will check you out there, and come back and check us out next week. Watch the earlier episodes if you haven't to catch up, and definitely subscribe to the channel if you get a chance and you like what you see. Thanks
Yeah,
so
I'll
much.
just say, follow Ken's Twitter. We may be going a little early, be going a little long next week for a big finale episode, so
That's
keep
totally
your eyes open.
That's totally right. Thanks for bringing that up, Thomas. And that's totally right. We will be starting a little earlier next week and going a little later in celebration for our 20th episode. So definitely keep an eye on Burling's Beard on Twitter to find out the times for that. All right, everybody. We'll catch up with you then. Be well, keep rolling crits, and watch out for those sea creatures. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye 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 bye
Bye.
bye
Bye. 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 Bye.